Enerhodar, once a busy and wealthy city in southern Ukraine, is now nearly empty under Russian control. With strict rules, many people are now fleeing and it's becoming a ghost town. Some even call it Russian atomic city. Now here is the story of that city, which is now being transformed by the Russia-Ukraine war.
I ran some classes before leaving for those who were still there, and then people began leaving, one after the other.
Volodymyr Sukhanov lived in Enerhodar for 30 years. He moved to the southern Ukrainian city from Moscow as the Soviet Union was falling apart. A family-friendly place where he spent his days teaching children how to play chess. But both Enerhodar and the nearby Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant were taken over by Moscow's forces weeks after Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022. Sukhanov and many others fled. He's now living in nearby Zaporizhzhia, teaching boys and girls who also escaped to the area still controlled by Ukraine's government. The departures have left Enerhodar a ghost town. By 2024, the city's population had shrunk by over half, according to the occupation administration. Reuters journalists did not visit Enerhodar for this story.
Some thought that Russia was better. I was really aware of this, but during lessons I treated everyone the same. Irrespective of who their parents were, what their views on life were.
The word Enerhodar means the gift of energy, and for decades, workers at the nuclear power plant lived there comfortably with their young families. But now it's become a key part of the wider plan to Russify Ukraine, replacing a potentially disloyal population with one that only identifies with Moscow. And nowhere is this control more obvious than among the city's children.
When the children sat together, one of them said they were told that Ukrainians were bad people. A 7th grade boy stood up and said, "You can't say this. This is our country. You Russians came to us." That is, he stated his position and his family suffered for it. Russian authorities came to their home and confronted the family.
Katerina is a teacher, one of the many who fled Enerhodar. She now teaches students who are similarly exiled and who describe their lives under Russian occupation. The Ukrainian Education Ministry says 80% of teachers have left the city since the invasion. These children in Zaporizhzhia, had their families not fled the occupied territories, would be taught a curriculum based on patriotism. Ukrainian children are indoctrinated to be loyal to Russian President Vladimir Putin and to Russian state energy giant Rosatom, which helps control the city. Some families have tried teaching their children themselves at home, but there's patchy internet, and the authorities are cracking down on online Ukrainian classes. Escaping Russian schooling is almost impossible.
A lot is said about Putin being a great person. To be honest, some students said everything inside them churns when they hear all this.
Rosatom, which operates the Zaporizhzhia plant, is fully involved in education. Russian officials say the company has paid for repairs and school equipment, including a swimming pool. Rosatom and the occupation administration said they were trying to build a brighter future for the city, a city where Russia is repossessing homes once owned by Ukrainians. Enerhodar's occupation mayor denied attempting to replace the population and said a substantial portion of arrivals are former residents. But from 2023, the new authorities in Enerhodar said residents had to register their home ownership with conditions. You have to have a Russian passport and fill out piles of paperwork. The Kremlin didn't respond to requests for comment.
Of course, they take away houses and flats and hand it over to other people. The fake administration gives it to other people. They move in and live in the housing belonging to Enerhodar residents.
Vadim Yakushev runs a humanitarian aid hub for Enerhodar residents. With about half the city's original inhabitants gone, Russian families are settling in.
I understand that my home is gone. So do all the others that have left Enerhodar. You have to rent a place. The feeling that you own an apartment is gone. It's out there somewhere, but it's gone.
Enerhodar is now a shadow of its former self, and so are its residents.
I would never have imagined there would be war between Ukraine and Russia, but I do remember well that when I entered Ukraine, I thought, what would I do if suddenly, purely theoretically, there was war? It did not make sense. But what if? What if it happens? I asked myself this question.